The Interstate Renewable Energy Council, my group, we've been around since 1982, actually. Just last week, February 10th, we had our 28th anniversary, so we're old-timers on this, but certainly very active and very excited about how the market and the industry is going, the renewable energy industry. Everybody is going green now, so we're pretty excited that these new incentives and new opportunities are happening around the country. We got started back in 2000 with certification and accreditation, and our dear friend Mark Fitzgerald really was a visionary with many of these advisory and certification groups. And Mark's vision was to make sure that there was consumer acceptance and consumer approval of the different renewable energy technologies. And one way to get to that is to make sure that there are good installations, there are safe installations, and also that there's good training to make sure that the installations are well done. And that's where we've come into the training part of the equation. We accredit the training programs and we certify instructors, and sometimes there's confusion with NAPCEP, the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners. NAPCEP certifies the installer, while we certify the instructor and we accredit the training program. And certainly Solar Energy International has been just a real model for the rest of the country in terms of not only the training that you folks do, but also that you're committed to excellence through the accreditation process. SEI is accredited for your photovoltaic courses, and certainly that many of your instructors and staff have been certified either as instructors or master trainers. We don't offer training courses. Our role is that through the ISPQ process, using an international standard, we verify the training programs. And the way this works, and this is where the bridge between our work and NAPCEP's work, is we take an industry-approved task analysis. The task analysis is a formal process that delivers a document that goes over the major tasks and subtasks that somebody in a profession or an occupation ought to know in order to do a good job. So we take that task analysis as part of the ISPQ accreditation process, and we make sure that all parts of the course or training program that is being accredited instructs toward that, or toward the task analysis. We want to make sure all the critical tasks are being taught in training in order to get a well-qualified installer as the outcome of training. A couple of things also that ISPQ looks at. One, we want to make sure that the training institution is fiscally sound. We want to make sure that it is safe, in a safe environment, with different safety procedures and practices in place in case equipment, there's an accident or any sort of equipment malfunction. We want to make sure that there's good management of the training program. We also want to make sure that the administrative procedures are in place in terms of documentation, in terms of applications and so forth. And equally as important with the content of what's being taught, we want to make sure that the instructors are well qualified to instruct. And what we have found is that, and they're really, certainly SEI has brought to us a group of just top-notch instructors, but we are seeing around the rest of the country that there are fewer instructors. We need many more qualified instructors who bring two things to the equation. One, they bring a good understanding of the content, obviously know their material, and we also want to make sure that they're good teachers, because sometimes you can get a very smart industry person who knows an awful lot about solar, photovoltaic, solar thermal, small wind, but they may not necessarily be good teachers. And you want to make sure that that balance is in place, so you have somebody who knows the material but also knows how to instruct toward that material. We're looking at, everybody's rushing to offer training programs. You know, everybody's looking for a green job, and obviously we think this is great, but we also want to make sure that not only is there good teaching and good content in the training programs, but we really want to make sure that people have some good hands-on experience, and that's sort of the next big hurdle that we have to look at. Not only do we would like to see a good environment in terms of a practical lab, but we also would like to see more training include actual hands-on kinds of on-the-job training. And equally, that's, you know, gets more and more important as the different technologies take off in the marketplace. The other big issue that we're seeing, and certainly one that requires some attention, is that some people will take a course and will receive some sort of certificate, some sort of document that says that they have completed a course. They may or may not have passed a test. They may have just get a certificate of attendance or a certificate of participation. We want to make sure that when they come out of that class, they don't unintentionally misrepresent themselves as being certified. There's a big difference between getting a certificate and getting a professional certification. And you know, terms and semantics can be sometimes misleading. Sometimes the word certificate is used interchangeably with the word certification. And we want to make sure that if somebody does represent themselves as being certified, receiving a professional certification, that in fact that is actually what happens. That they just have not received a document saying that they've completed a course, but that in fact they have gone through professional credentialing, which usually requires meeting certain different criteria. It also requires passing of a major exam, and it also requires continued maintenance on the certification through continuing education or through other kind of professional development avenues.